Hello and welcome to this class for the Minecraft Studio Beneath the Blooms download. It's quite a small download, but I'm going to show you a few different things that we can do to expand on the designs that are in there and create our own compositions, and also we're actually going to make a background from a part of one of the designs. So let's get straight into the demonstration. We are using Minecraft Studio Elite today, so we're going to get onto the computer and we can see here that we've got the white page in the centre. Over to the left we've got the Beneath the Blooms folder, which I'll just click on to highlight it there, and we see we've got the plus beside it. So we're going to click onto that and we'll see we've got scene building, reflections and digistamps. If I click onto the scene building, again you see it's quite a small download. It actually is from one die set, but we've actually got several elements in here. So if I show you the main scene, so this is the actual scene that we actually used to compose the die, and we created the die in several pieces. So you've got the complete composition here, which is absolutely beautiful and makes a stunning topper on a project. But we've also got the elements individually. So you see we've got the wall with the gate posts there. We've got the gate on its own, so a lovely little vintage wrought iron gate. If I stretch that up, you can see some of the sketch detail in there. Really, really lovely. And then we've also got our floral blooms that go across the top of the gate as well, but we've actually got them in a couple of different colours. So you can see here we've got a white one, a pink one and an orange one. We've got all three of those on here for you within the download. So the first thing I want to do, I'm actually just going to remove this one from the page and we're going to work with this one. So you can see here we've got elements, then we've got the full scene in here. But what I want to do is create another backing paper that's actually going to coordinate with that scene. So I'm going to stretch this up and I'm actually going to take this particular element, so this piece of wall here, and I'm going to create a backing paper using that. So I'm going to click on the scissors tool up at the top of the page in the image tools section, click on scissors, and then we're just going to click around these bricks here. So you see there's a couple of different pieces of stonework on this one. So I'm just coming around this one here. I'm not being particularly precise because we're actually going to create a backing paper using this one, and we're going to overlay it quite a few times. So I'm just coming around here. When I get down to the bottom, you can see there's actually nothing there around the image because it's a transparent image. So we're going to click until we get around to the top. Come back to where we started clicking and you'll see that that black line changes to blue. So if I just pop that back to the beginning, you'll see it changes from black to a soft blue. When we click when the line's blue, it actually highlights the area that we're working on, so we can then move the mouse and we're not actually selecting anymore. So if I now select to keep the inner area, you can see if I put my mouse over without clicking, we're going to keep everything inside that blue area. If I keep the outer, we keep everything outside, so we remove that piece of wall. But I'm going to keep the inner for this particular piece. So you can see here we've got that piece of wall now. What we're going to do is you're going to pop it up onto the top left of the page, and we're going to press the tile button. So now when we move these boxes, we actually replicate the design. So I'm going to tile it across and down to create a paper. Now obviously that looks very, very strange at the moment, but what we're going to do now is going to click the tile button again and we're going to copy and paste. So I'm going to click copy and click paste. It's popped an identical backing paper onto the page for us. So I'm going to pop this one just up here. I'm going to click on the tile button and then we're going to pull this back down, because when we click onto the tile, it actually reactivates that tile feature, so we can actually pull this paper out a little bit more. And then we're going to copy, so right click and copy and right click and paste. It's popped another one of those straight over the top, and you can see there, if I move that into position, we've actually got pretty much a complete backing paper. Down towards the bottom we've got some more white areas, so all I need to do is find that little centre line there, so you can see that the mouse changes from a single arrow to a double arrow when you get over the top of the blue box. We're going to pull that down, and then we've actually created an A4 backing paper. And if I zoom into this backing paper, you'll see that it's actually created using that wall. Now I can actually see just in here I've got some little white areas in there as well. So we're just going to move this one along just to cover those white areas up as well. But this is actually a beautiful textured backing paper now. So if I now just going to zoom out, I'm going to save this down as a JPEG file. So up towards the top left of the page, we have the Save As button. We have different options. So I'm going to create a folder in here called, so I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Beneath the Blooms. So I'm just going to click on there and double click into there. So all the files that I'm creating in this class will be saved in my folder. So then if you do this when you're working at home, you know that the files are all in one place for you that relate to that particular collection. So I'm going to save this one as a Minecraft Studio file. So I'm going to call it Stone Paper. So I'm going to save it as a craft project there. Click on Save. And then we're going to go back up to Save As. I'm going to click on Stone Paper, so it puts the name back into that file name box for us. I'm going to click on the Save As Type box. I'm going to click on JPEG Pro Quality. And then when we click on Save for that one, you'll see then it just actually gave us a little snapshot. So it actually cropped the area around the edge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close that page down. And yes, I want to close it down. I'm going to open up the Stone Paper. So this is the Minecraft Studio file that we saved, the first one, which was the craft project. So I'm going to open that one up, and you'll see that what we can do now is we can move these out if we wanted to. So we could actually come in and we could resize this particular tiled element. So if I bring this down here, resize it, we can actually layer different sizes over the top and change, or we could actually undo that, put that one back into position. And then if I move that back into position there, what we can also do then is click on one of the layers and we can change the colour of that particular layer as well. So you can actually come in and do lots of editing on all the different elements within the file. But what we also have, if I open a new page, where we saved it in our Documents folder, you'll see in here I have a Beneath the Blooms folder, which I thought I'd got. Maybe I popped it on the desktop instead. No, I'll just resave that. So where did I save that? In my Documents. And then, okay, I'm going to go back to this paper. I'm going to undo those colour changes that we just did, and we'll save that one again as a JPEG. So into Beneath the Blooms, just going to click back up there. Oh, so it is on the desktop. I'm just going to save it into the Documents folder just so that we know exactly where it is. So I'm going to go into Documents, and we'll create a new folder in there called Beneath the Blooms. So you can actually save the file anywhere on your computer. So you can save it onto a USB drive if you wanted to, and you can also save it onto an external hard drive, or if you have a separate folder that you have on your desktop that's maybe your Minecraft Studio files, you can do that as well. So now when we go back to our Documents, we've got the Beneath the Blooms folder in here. So this is in this top left box where we find the artwork and we find all the scene building. We find the Beneath the Blooms folder in our Documents. Going to go back to the empty page. I'm going to pull on the JPEG file, and you'll see that that is now a solid piece of paper that is actually ready for us to print out. So that is one solid image, which we can now bring the, if I come back to the scene building, and bring the Beneath the Blooms image on and size that down a little bit. You can see we can pop that onto there. If I now select everything that's on the page and group it together and resize that down, we've actually created our own unique topper using the elements there. So we actually took this particular wall section and created a wall backing paper to use on our matting and layering on a topper. So you can see that there. I'm just going to switch the grid off because it's a little bit easier for you to see. And you can see there we've got that backing paper. So if I ungroup that and then I just switch off that layer, you see that we've got that backing paper there, which matches perfectly because it's actually been taken from an element within the design. So there's our topper. What I want to do now is show you a couple of different things that we can do with the flowers. So if I go back into the files and bring this one on, and this one, and this one. So you see we've got the three different colours on here. So I'm just going to pop this over to one side. We've got the three different colours on here. Now what we're going to do, if I change the colour of these, then the green and the orange or the green and the pink will change at the same time. So if I go into the Effects tab, we can use the Hue slider, and you see it's changing to shades of green, shades of pink, shades of blue as we cycle through there. If we use the Rainbow slider, the green and the pink will change to different colours and cycle through a kaleidoscope, but then you can see that the leaves are changing to purples and oranges, which may be the look that you're going for. But it also may be a little bit too psychedelic for what you're looking for, although that's really, really pretty, isn't it? What I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go back and use those scissors, but I'm actually going to cut some of these little clusters of flowers out from the different pieces and place them over the top of the original one. So I'm going to come onto this one, and I'm actually going to use the lasso knife for this one, so I don't have to do all that clicking, just for a little bit of speed. It's entirely up to you which one of those you actually choose to use. So I'm going to use the lasso knife, and for this one, we come around the edge, and all I'm doing is holding down the button on the mouse. So I'm holding down the left button on the mouse and then literally dragging the mouse around the edge of the design. And then I come back to the beginning and let go of the button. And then if I zoom out, you'll see I can actually copy. And then if I right click and paste, it's actually placed another one of those directly over the top. So what we can do with that is we can pop that pink one just over the top of the orange one there. And we can see that we've actually got a different set of flowers there. We can also get some of the ones from the white one. So I'm going to zoom into this particular area of the page as well. So we're going to pop that over there. I'm just going to use the lasso knife. And we're just going to come around these flowers here. And I'm just going around those ones there, again using the lasso knife, just holding down that left mouse button whilst we actually drag the mouse around, let go, and then we zoom back out of the page, and then we copy, right click and paste, and it's popped those ones directly over the top. So you can see here we're actually creating a very different look to these particular flowers by copying and pasting from the other colours. So we'll grab one of these from the middle of this pink one here as well. So I'm going to go with this one just here. And because they are the same sized images, we can actually just literally copy and paste, and it pops it straight over the top, and we can just lift it straight from that one onto this one. So I'm going to go for this one over this side here. So I'm going to go for that one. We're going to go around that one just there. So just literally drag around, let go, copy, right click and paste. Pop that one up there. And then we're going to come over here, we'll get the white ones down here, I think. In fact, actually, we'll go with the white ones in the centre section there. So we're going to go with the lasso knife again, just around this piece here. And then again, I'm just literally holding and dragging. I'm not being particularly precise. You can zoom in a lot closer, so you can see a lot more of the detail if you wanted to. So just going to pop that one just there. And then on this one, we'll just grab a couple of those little pink ones down in this bottom corner. So I'm going to pop that down there and come around those two just there. Again, I'm just going to press the copy button that appears, press paste, and pop those two just up there. And then if I now delete that one and delete that one from the page, we've actually created a different composition. One of the things we do need to do now though is click and draw a box over the whole of those elements, so you can see now all of them are actually selected. We've got lots of different boxes over the top of them. You just need to press on group, because that will actually then lock them together so that we can resize as we like, and we can actually resize them all together in one go. If I now come back to the individual elements, we can pop this one over the top of here, so you can see there. So you can use this particular image as a guide for where you're actually going to pop your flowers. So you can pop them behind the wall, you can right click and bring them to the front of the wall if you wanted to. So you can pop them so they're actually on the wall, you can have them so that they're just growing just over it. And then we've also got the gate that we can pop into the centre if we wanted to. Again, you don't have to. And if you do have one of the other Two Red Robins USBs, so I'm just going to have a look what else we've got on here. So we'll go for one of the scene building ones. We'll grab a scene, and we'll just go with the first one just on there, just as an example. So any of the other USBs that you have, you can shrink that down, right click and send it to the back. And you can actually pop that scene so that it's actually appearing through that archway now. If I just use my buttons on my keyboard, so just the arrow buttons on the keyboard just to nudge it into position, you can see that we can actually just shrink this down so that that tree is just peering through the archway there. So you can see we've actually created a topper and we've also created the scene there. We do also have the digi-stamps on here as well, so I just wanted to show you do have the 3 digi-stamps, which you can actually create a composition that you can actually print off and colour in using the digi-stamps if you wanted to, so you could use that, print that onto watercolour paper, but there's lots and lots of different options with this particular one. So as I said in the beginning, it doesn't actually look like there's a huge amount in there because this particular, we call it a collection, but it is actually one die, the Beneath the Blooms. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's going to be so versatile when you use it with your other 2 Red Robins collections. And you can see here we've actually used it with something else from another scene building USB to pop that tree, just as if you're walking through into maybe an orchard or something there. But mix and match it with those and also use it independently. It's a lovely little design and it will create some stunning projects for all occasions. So I'm hoping that you've enjoyed that particular demonstration. Have fun with it and I can't wait to see what you create. Please do share them with us. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to receive notifications of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video or click here to see more videos like this one.